Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks that I use for my game streaming stuff online, that I would stream, what games I like to stream, what games I like to play, and what other applications and softwares and services that I use in order to stream all my gaming content. So alright, let's just dive into the stuff. So first of all, I'm going to share what application or software I use for streaming. And if you have searched on streaming online, streaming your screen, or making video recordings, making your video recordings of your screen and everything, then you probably heard about OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software. And OBS is open source streaming application or software that you can use, but I'm not using just OBS. I'm also this OBS is provided by Stream Elements. Stream Elements, it's one of the service that I use for streaming and everything, which I'm not gonna dive into right now for this video. I'm just gonna be share my OBS settings for gaming and a little bit about what kind of games I like to play, or which games I play, and what settings I have found or noticed that are really good in order to stream your game smoothly. So I'll try to keep this video short, but may or may not. I don't know idea, because I'm not just it's not pre-scripted or recorded. So I'll just go ahead and dive in. And something, if you like to use it for your own settings, I hope you'll find it. This is for lowest end PC, or you can use same settings for some high-end PC that I have. I actually have two GPUs, so I use one for gaming and two secondary GPU I use for streaming and encoding. So I'm gonna share all my settings, and I'm gonna show you what I use for that. So alright, let's just dive into that. If you want to download the Stream Elements OBS Studio, you can just go to streamelements.com, or I'll just show Google it real quick if I can pull it right here. And it's their website right here. Stream Elements, they have stream management software, which is obviously OBS, but on top of OBS they have their plugins that you can use, and that's what I'm using here for this OBS Studio. It's similar to regular OBS, but couple of features like activity feed and chat's gonna show up here if you're logged in, and it will get connected automatically. So I'm not gonna okay, all right, let's dive into settings first, then we'll talk about syncs and everything. Excuse me. Okay, all right, so in settings tab we got some different settings here. There's a general, stream, output, and etc. So in streams here you got your own service that I'm using. I'm using Restream. I'm not using one of this one. I don't know when they started adding this stuff, but I just went to custom. I had my server here which I'm streaming, and here's my key. And so that's the basic settings you probably want to use. I'll talk about Restream. If you want to know more about Restream, you just drop a comment here, and I'll explain it. I'll see how many people are interested in Restream stuff, but I'm not gonna dive deep into Restream right now. And main resource is right here: output, audio, video, and we don't want to worry about hotkeys. So I'm gonna start with video. So for video settings, as you can see, I'm already running this OBS, so I'm not going to be able to change this stuff, but that's okay. So this main screen that I'm recording this video is 2K display, so I want to make sure that my base canvas resolution is what my maximum screen size or resolution is. So basically I will just go ahead and keep it to 2K. If you are using 1080p monitor, you can go ahead and change it to 1080p, but if you're using 4K, then there's obviously going to be a 4K settings available too. But here, output scale resolution, so this one is what you're going to be sending to your live stream, whether it's a platform like Twitch or Mixer or YouTube, Facebook gaming, etc. Remember one thing, they all have different accepting bitrate and everything. So settings that you use for YouTube may not work for Facebook or Twitch. in generally. But the settings that I'm using here, I'm going to show you here today, is usually 1080p that works for Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And so hopefully it will help you to output your stream with high definition 60 fps quality, and it won't slow down your stream, or it won't make your stream laggy, or it will be more clear. All right, so back to our settings here. So I'm trying to stream my content at 1080p. Even though I'm playing 2K games, I want to squeeze it down to 1080p so I can use less bitrate, and it's still HD. So output scale resolution, what you want to set here is 1080p or 720p here. I'm setting up 1080p. Then downscale filter, which is algorithm I believe that the OBS is going to use to compress your video before it sends that video to your streaming services. And I kept common FPS value, which is 60, because I like to stream at 60 FPS. If you're trying to stream 1080p or more, you obviously want to go to 60. 30 FPS probably not a good idea. But if you're using 720p, then 60 or 30 FPS will work for you. But I stream at 1080p, so I'm keeping 60 FPS common FPS value, which is 60. If your stream is still lagging and stuff, you can downgrade the sampling to 16, which is one less sampling size. I cannot open this one because I'm already recording my screen here, so unfortunately I cannot show you other options. But Lengthos sharpen scale in 36 samples is pretty good. It works, and if you got RTX GPUs and NVIDIA RTX GPUs, this will work smoothly. Next thing we want to set up is our audio. So you can have multiple audio devices, I believe up to 6. And so there's one, obviously first one's going to be desktop audio, which means if you're playing games or your Discord or anything your desktop is outputting. So I kept my desktop audio to default. You can have another desktop audio. I'm not going to dive into pro gaming setup, because if you're this one is for beginners. This is not for pro gamer stuff, and I'm not pro gamer either. I'm also a beginner, so I'm just trying to share my knowledge that I spent last weekend actually trying to get my settings real good so I can stream PC games at HD quality on the streaming platforms. So okay, back to our settings. Device. So I am keeping my desktop audio default. You can have multiple options, like I got headsets and everything, but I'm gonna keep it default. My desktop 2 is disabled. For mic, I'm also gonna set a default. Whatever mic you have, you can keep it there, but I'm gonna keep default because my microphone is default here. So I'm gonna keep it first. Primary mic audio is default. You don't need to change anything here. Hotkeys and advanced, you can dive into these settings if you want to, but I don't think you need anything here. Your sample rate probably is default 44.1. Just keep it there. I'm not changing anything. You can change stereo and 7.1, but I don't think your game probably is gonna be allowing you to do that. Or maybe even if your game is 7.1, your streaming platform like YouTube, they probably don't have technology, I believe, to stream it online. Technology is not a good word, but still. All right, so you can just keep everything default here. These couple settings you want to make sure your devices, which is your desktop audio and mic for audio. Now we go to our main setting that is going to be used as our output stuff. So in output mode, you probably have default as a classic, I believe, but I don't know, as again, I cannot change some of these settings because I am already recording this video. So I would say click here and change it to advanced. It's going to show you multiple options like that. So for streaming tab, if you're using NVIDIA RTX, you should see NVENC H264 new. There's also X2 something that is for CPU, which you do not want to use if you are already playing game which is heavily CPU based game. You want to use your NVENC if you have NVIDIA graphics card. If you have AMD, then it will show up something else, which I don't know, I don't remember, because I don't have AMD graphics card. But if you got RTX GPUs, you definitely want to use H.264 new, not the regular H.264. And because RTX is a dedicated encoding processor, I believe, or encoder in there, that actually going to be used for encoding your video. And you do want to enforce streaming service encoder settings here. Some people suggest that don't do it, some people suggest do it. I have actually found that enforcing streaming encoder settings, it's gonna give control to OBS to go with the settings that I'm going to set up, and not my GPU will not be deciding how to, to update some settings and force only some settings. So this way I'm making sure that my OBS settings, all of my settings is going to be forced on encoding. For rate control, you have multiple options: CBR, constant bitrate, then I don't know, CQP, then VBR, which is variable bitrate, and then lossless, so lossless. No, so we're going to use CBR, constant bitrate, and I'm setting up 7999. I found out that even though Twitch says that it accepts 6000 for 1080p 60 fps, they will probably they handle up to this number. I don't know why, I don't know how or why or whatever, but it also depends on your internet output speed too. If your internet upload speed is like 2 Mbps, this is not suggested for you. You do not want to stream at 1080p. You want to lower it down to 720 and go with 720 settings, which I believe you can do. 720 is also probably not going to work because it requires about 3 Mbps or 2.5 depending on platform. But these settings are for at least 10 Mbps uploading speed, and you're trying to stream for 1080p, then definitely this settings gonna be helpful for you. The next thing we want to come here is the keyframe interval. We want to set it to 2. 0 means auto. We don't want to do auto settings. We want to have 2 seconds of keyframe. And the preset we are trying to use, we are using here is max quality, because these other presets are gonna make your encoding process faster, but it's not gonna be clear. Max quality doesn't affect that much in processing, but it definitely makes your video more cleaner. So max quality is what we are going to use. For profile, we're going to use high. If it's using too much GPU or CPU or heating up your box, you probably want to go to main maybe, but high is also recommended. Look ahead is not something that we want to enable, so make sure it's not checkmarked. What it's going to do, it's going to be enabling this dynamic B-frame that will look for the next frame, which will try to look for next frame before it sends it out, and it will increase your GPU utilization. So I would recommend not use it, because I'm not using it and it didn't make any difference for my stream. We want to keep this psycho visual tuning default. Now back to GPU. As I mentioned earlier, that I'm using I have 2 GPUs. I have 2 NVIDIA RTX 2080 GPUs that I'm using. So primary GPU is used for gaming, while secondary is used for streaming services. Streaming my videos. So for OBS, if you set 0, which means your primary GPU, but 1 is your secondary. So if you got 3 GPUs, then you would want to do number 2 here. So I don't know what's the maximum number it goes. I believe 8. Yes. So you can have up to like 9 GPUs, but I think that's crazy. Having 9 GPUs, that's super crazy. You probably don't need that unless you're using it for some other purpose. But back to our settings. So I have secondary GPU that I'm using for video encoding. So I'm entering number 1, but you can use 0 if you have only single GPU. Maybe you have 2 desktop towers set up to stream your game, like you play on one PC and then you are outputting that outputting that stream to your secondary PC, and then from that PC you are streaming online, then you can definitely use 0. But in my case, I have 2 GPUs, so I'm using number 1 here, which is my secondary GPU. And also max B frames, you want to leave it as number 2. I don't remember its purpose, I guess, but that's I think default settings anyway, so you can leave it there, right there. And now we come to recording here. I'm using type standard for recording. You can provide your recording path. You can have this enabled. It's all default settings, so you don't want to mess with that. Okay, now recording format. By default, OBS will have FLV as your format extension, but you want to change it to MP4. It will, yes, it will give you this warning and everything, but that's okay. Change it to MP4. Next thing we want to do is audio track. So I don't know if you want to mess with this stuff. By default, I think there's only number 1 enabled, but you can just go ahead and enable all 6 audio tracks here. It's not going to make any difference if your number 3 or number 2 audio track is not available, because we right here we don't have all 6 available. So that's fine. You can go ahead and change these audio tracks and enable all 6. Now next thing we want to change is our encoder setting. Excuse me. Wow. All right. So in encoder settings, we want to change it to again okay, well, I don't know why I'm having a hard time. Okay, we want to change it to NVIDIA NVENC H264 new. Once again, if you're using RTX, that's the only way you will be able to see this option. Otherwise, if you're using GTX GPUs, you will see NVENC H264. Maybe after software update you might see that, but I have no clue. I don't use GTX GPUs, so you want to use this one. If you're using AMD, then obviously you want to use the AMD encoder, but don't try to use X264. I think X, which is CPU based, because it's gonna take your CPU resources and it will slow down your PC performance. We are not going to mess with custom muxer settings. I don't know what they're used for, and I haven't changed anything here. Now we're going to select rate control, not CBR here, not constant bit rate. We are going to use CQP. I don't think they have any full form. I mean, like, I didn't read any documentation full form. And if you find what it is for, please feel free to leave a comment about this one. You want to leave CQ level 1. The lowest level is number 1, which is the highest performance, because you are going to be writing on your hard disk, so you don't have bitrate limitations. OBS or your encoder will decide what's good settings for your video file. So again, we're gonna keep this keyframe interval to B, preset max, just like we have for our streaming. So you can see high, no look ahead, psycho, GP1, and here max B frames. Excuse me. Next, max B frames, you want to leave it number 1. I don't know what max B frames are for, but these are the settings that I found that are really good for recording your video. So these are our settings for streaming. You can go up to 15,000 kilobytes per second if you're streaming to YouTube with 2K or 4K resolution, but again, not all streaming services will accept that bitrate. So these settings are good for 1080p streaming, 1080p video streaming to different streaming platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer. They all will accept it, and these settings will be displaying your gameplay real smooth. If you're having a problem, feel free to leave a comment. This video is not something professional. I was just messing with my settings here, and I decided to share my experience with everyone, so I just quickly recorded this video, and I believe it's gone more than, I don't know, 15 minutes probably. So again, don't look for this video to be a professional one. This is just a simple share that I made for you guys. I hope that I can help, upcoming gamers, streamers, or anyone who's trying to make video contents online available, and my settings will be helpful for them. So if you liked it, if you want to know more about my gaming stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention what kind of games I play. I play PUBG PC, but I don't stream that. I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which just came out recently, like a week or 10 days ago. That's what I stream. I also play Apex Legend, but I haven't streamed that either. And I have played PUBG Mobile emulator on my PC, which I have streamed a lot. And so these are the games that I like to play and I like to stream, and I'll be streaming more contents of Apex Legend and Call of Duty Modern Warfare and any other games that I find interesting, upcoming games. But this, yeah, pretty much that's all I wanna mention in this video. And if you want to know more about my game settings or anything other than OBS, like maybe if you are interested in to know more about Restream.io and their services, feel free to leave a comment. Depending on how many people are requesting for more information, I'll make other videos and I'll try to make more professional videos if you want me to. But this is just a simple, real quick 20 some minutes video that I just made. And I want to show real quick a couple other stuff, my performance, my GPU. So you can see these settings are not using a lot of GPU. It's encoding my video right now, but my secondary GPU is being used only 18%. So you can see it's how much efficient these settings are. So I hope you'll find this information helpful, and if you got any question, feel free to leave a comment. And if you like this video and you want me to make more videos like that, please subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe my Facebook page, my Twitch, my Mixer account, Mixer profile. Everything's gonna be below in comments, and I hope you like this video and settings are helpful to you. And let me know if you want to know more about my settings or my games or anything else that I can be helpful for to you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys. Peace.